Welcome to this episode of This Week on the Battlefield, the show where we cover news, updates, the community, and so much more all around the Battlefield franchise. In this episode, we have some little additions to the Overture update to cover, that of course dropping this week, the discovery of some hidden weapons contained within last week's update, of which we already know some of the identities of those weapons, some interesting information all around what to expect in the near future from Battlefield updates, possibly with an update coming as soon as next week already. That of course from the Reddit AMA that was hosted just a couple of days ago, more discussion around the medics in terms of community news, and of course the reappearance of everyone's Battlefield. That of course alongside some controversy, and to round everything off, some brilliant only in Battlefield moments for all of you to enjoy. First up then, let's start off where we left off in the last episode of This Week on the Battlefield. The Overture update, which of course dropped late, but did drop this week thanks to some emergency bug fixes that had to be done there. That aside though, most of the content was as we predicted, as we were told in advance in terms of gameplay, maps, weapons, etc, etc. What I would like to add on to last week's episode, however, is the chapter progression, which we've now got a full look at, which has brought a whole set of additional customization, assignments, and so much more to the game. I give credit where credit is due. Progression is off the charts in this game. It's absolutely amazing. There's some great vehicle and weapon skins to be unlocked in this chapter progression. All in all, I couldn't be happier with the amount of content that we've got in terms of progression, at least so far. Link down below in the description if you want to check out the official post on all the unlocks that are actually available, if you don't want to go in game and just simply find out for yourself. More interestingly, however, in terms of hidden weapons in this update, we know that as it stands now, there are 8 not known weapons that can still be unlocked for Battlefield 5. Well, we don't know if they actually can be unlocked. We simply know that they've been added into the game because there is a certain number of weapons displayed per class, and that doesn't currently match the number of weapons that we have, in addition to the weapons that we know can be unlocked. So for the medic, there's 2 additional unknown weapons as it stands right now. The same can be said for the assault class, although in one of the streams it was spotted that the ribeyrolles 1918 was actually part of the weapon list. So in terms of unknown weapons for the assault class, it can be assumed that there's only one unknown, and then of course we should be getting the ribeyrolles at one point in time as well. A weapon of course many people loved from Battlefield 1, so should be a fan favorite in Battlefield 5 as well. In terms of the support, there's 3 unknown weapons as of now. There's been speculation that supposedly one of them should be the M1897, but that still leaves 2 unknown weapons. In terms of the scout, besides of course the Zepsada M1906, which of course we all know that we will be getting in week 4, I believe, of the chapter rank. The assignment should come out for that weapon. There is one additional weapon that has yet to be identified as to what exactly it will be. Hopefully we get these weapons sooner rather than later, especially in terms of the assault rifles. I think there could be a couple more added into the game to flush out that weapon category, but as it stands now, we have no idea about what these weapons actually are and when we're going to be getting them. In terms of quick snippets of news, we had the Reddit AMA this week, which gave us a whole small list of kind of introduced features to be expected in the coming weeks, months, and maybe even years for Battlefield 5. Nothing too important here, but for those interested in the Battlefield franchise, small bits of interesting information nevertheless. First thing to note here is that the 11th of December is the date for the next update for Battlefield 5. It's just going to be a bug fix update to deal with some of the major bugs that were introduced with this Overture update, but other than that, don't expect any major content additions in this update. DICE team, in terms of features, is looking at adding customization and specializations to the practice range. That's something that's being considered, something that really needs to be there, obviously, for self-explanatory reasons. In terms of the death spotting, which supposedly at this point is being recognized as a feature, for those who don't know what it is, when you kill somebody in Battlefield 5, you're actually spotted on the minimap. Not 3D spotted, but you are spotted on the minimap. So for those wondering why every time you flank a group of enemies and you kill one, everybody suddenly turns around, this is not your footsteps being super loud, because we all know those are still pretty much broken. No, this is you showing up on the minimap. And this can be especially impactful and annoying on more frontlines-ish game modes, so be that frontlines, breakthrough, ground operations, or even conquest assault in certain scenarios. Most people should be happy to see this going. Supposedly this is being addressed in the next patch, and it wasn't however clarified if this is the December 11th patch or if this is the next major patch, which should be about 1.5 weeks out at this point in time. DICE is also looking at introducing beacons to the squad deploy screen, a little nice neat addition that could actually be handy. No ETA exactly on when to expect this. Regarding the weapon unlock missions, given that there was some confusion around whether, for example, the Vickers could be unlocked after this week has passed, where the challenge is actually active. No details exactly as to how it will be unlockable, but it will be unlockable. So for those of you going on holiday over Christmas, for example, like myself, who won't be able to unlock the Zepsada 1906, no worries. You will be able to unlock the setup starter 1906 after you return from your holidays. No exact information as said, however, how that is exactly going to work. At this point, I'm wondering if DICE is actually still figuring this out and it's not exactly even known internally to them themselves. No update in terms of time to death, still being investigated. A little bit of an update on footsteps, that's supposedly going to be getting a lot better in the next patch. No update really on RSP either, still looking to options was the comment by the developer on the Reddit AMA. And to round things off in terms of unknown futures, the medic class will be getting a different class of weaponry at some point in time to increase their flexibility on the battlefield, but no estimated time of arrival on that yet either. So yay, a bunch of things to look forward to, but not know when exactly you're going to be getting them. In terms of community news this week, well, one of the more controversial aspects was the return of the hashtag everyone's battlefield. This showed up in connection with a bunch of troll comments that supposedly were mocked at the DICE launch party that they had for their developers, which a bunch of the developers decided to post on social media. So well done DICE there for reminding everybody of your atrocious marketing campaign and how you mocked some of your fans and compared most of your fans, which had legitimate criticisms around this campaign and the way you were marketing the game, to those who were simply just kind of trolling everybody on the internet with their silly comments. My thoughts on all this have been well documented. I'm just simply going to add this meme in here of my own creation, which I think perfectly summarizes how I feel about this. And that's all that really needs to be said about it at this point in time. In terms of the medic buff and whether it went far enough, I think the community consensus more or less has been that no, it hasn't, or at least that's the feeling I've got from browsing the good old Reddits and Twitter this week following the Overture update. So, in essence, DICE is going to have to do a little bit more. They haven't announced just yet if they're going to do more in terms of maybe, as I've said before, extending the 4-shot kill range of the lower firing SMGs. We can only hope that the SMG class gets competitive sometime soon, because as it stands now, I personally still don't think it's a viable choice of weaponry, opposed or compared to some of the LMGs or the assault rifles in Battlefield 5. In terms of only in Battlefield moments, we're starting this week off with the melee streak by Yuso Simpo, who posted this on the Battlefield 5 Reddit forums. His squad mate's been taken out and he's going to get some sweet revenge with a good old melee takedown streak. 4 enemies taken down on the objective by him in this streak. Nuseal is going to be taking out a bomber this week, but not with a rocket launcher, no, instead more difficultly with a Piat. It's a real short clip, but it's definitely nice to see, especially because of the higher difficulty that using a Piat to take down a bomber represents. Biff the Bear this week showing off his skills as Troll, getting essentially a triple with the Colibri of Battlefield 5, the Liberator, with the help of a little bit of dynamite and some sneaky skills. Not sure if this would have been possible if footsteps were properly implemented in the game, but that aside, a beautiful clip nevertheless. And last, of course, in terms of absolute pilot godness, we've got Ali on Twitter posting the impossible, flying through the bridge on twisted steel upside down in a fighter plane. Absolutely brilliant clip, flawless execution, I would like to add as well. This is the next step up essentially from flying through the bridge normally. I've not achieved either at this point, so for me this is something special. Let me know down below in the comments if you find this to be kind of your everyday Battlefield experience where you just pop in and out of this bridge, being the excellent pilots that you all are. Coming to the end of this week's episode, however, then, if you enjoyed the show, find it interesting or entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, and of course, hit me up with your feedback, suggestions, and opinions down below in the comments or on Twitter. With that being said, however, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next episode of This Week on the Battlefield.